of us are grappling with the past. Are we here? We are grappling with the past problems. I was offended in 2020. I am still upset even now. When the Bible says, do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. Now let's begin to manage anger. The number one point that I want to raise is that you need to, when you are angry, that is, pause. Somebody has just stepped on you. Pause and count 1 up to 10 before you say anything. Pastor Banda, somebody has stepped on you. As a good child of God, you start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until number 10. By that time, it means you would have already calculated what words to use and what words not to use. In other words, delay your response. If you have been provoked, remember the definition, an emotional response to what? Provocation. So before you say anything, pause. Allow some time to pass. Censor your words, because chances are that if you are going to respond there and then, what happens? That's where now the wise would say 2 wrongs cannot do what? So you've been offended, fine. But then you have no reason to respond instantly. That's number 1. Pause, count 1 to 10 before you speak. The other point, so in emphasizing that point, we are saying, speak when you are angry. Now, this will cause you to regret. Speak when you are angry, and you will make a speech you will regret forever afterwards. So the moment you just rush to say your words, you would wish you would find a way of retrieving your words. So why not wait? Be sure I am ready to say something. And then you can say it. And then we move in that direction. So the other point number 2 for managing your anger, think before you act or speak. What did I say? It's the same process, Pastor Banda. It's the same process. Before you say anything, before you utter any word, think, this that I'm about to say, where is it taking us? Indirectly, I'm talking to couples. We fight in our homes because we are all at the apex of our anger. You know your wife is violent, then don't respond. If you know your husband is violent, don't respond. So in other words, pause, think, then choose. You would have chosen the right words to use. That's what we are trying to say. It's difficult to coordinate when the computer is not in front of you, but I hope you can see. Pause, think, then choose the right words to use. Point number 3 that I want to make is that know what to get angry for. Here. Are you going to manage getting angry for everything, provided it calls for anger? Just because I have been provoked, then I should act angrily. Is that what we should do? In order for you to manage your anger, you should learn to say, this can pass. Let some things pass you. You will not manage to get everything. You are angry. Some things just learn to look. Said, oh, okay, fine. If it is in Zambia now, you even say, let's akupare. I'm like, okay, fine. You've provoked me. I'll not lose anything. Pastor Maxwell, you don't get angry for everything that happens where you are in the district assisting your father. People talk. But you just have to ask yourself, this one, see funika. Point number 4, decide to be mute. Somebody here said, I keep quiet. And I think that's the best remedy that we can use. Decide to be mute. You will not talk because there is need for you to talk. We are told, keeping quiet is golden. Or silence is what? Power. And actually the Bible is very clear. We will read Proverbs chapter 13 together. Where we have it. Who has found it? Proverbs chapter 13 verse 3. The microphone is here. You don't need to worry. Okay, let's quickly read it in the interest of time. The Bible in Proverbs chapter 13 verse 3 says, those who guard their lips preserve their lives. Those who guard their lips do what? But those who speak rashly will come to ruin. So you are better off keeping quiet. You will not manage, we've already said, to talk about everything. But the best you will do is, in case you want to leave, then keep quiet. You will not say anything in this situation. But if you want, keep responding. We will be invited for your burial. And we come in a hurry. And even make contributions that we never made when you were alive. This is the counsel from the Word of God. If you want to die fast, respond to everything. There's a quotation that I want us to read from the book Gospel Workers. It's on page 475 and 476. Okay, so that we don't have to. The spirit of prophet says, if impatient words are spoken to you, never reply in the same spirit. Just because my wife was throwing tantrums doesn't mean I should also throw them. It's not churchy, it's a kind of doing business. It's not tit for tat. If impatient words are spoken to you, never reply in the same spirit. Because words spoken in reply to one who is angry sometimes serve only to exasperate, but anger met with silence in a tender, forbearing spirit quickly dies away. I had a girlfriend, I think my second girlfriend in life. We used to quarrel nearly every day. And the funny thing is, I was staying in Livingston and she was staying in Chilanga. But we would quarrel every day. On phone. And that time I was working for Airtel. I had a SIM card that if you call me, you will not be charged. Unless me, I call you, they will bill me. So she would call me at any time and we'll talk for hours. And in those hours, the time you are saying bye, it's bye because you just have to breathe. But we would quarrel. Then I told myself, I will not manage quarreling with this girl. Let me keep quiet. Let me try it for 1 week. She tries to say this, I'm quiet. She tries, I'm quiet. After 1 week, she even said, I miss Kuyamba Namwe. But imagine the peace I enjoyed. To this date, I have realized that keeping quiet helps me. Hold your fire. When you are in a home, Pastor Zulu, and you don't respond to everything, in their heart, I'm talking about the madam, she will be like, but Chinachevich, why is she younger? Because the idea is respond, then I respond, and then we begin to do what? To fight eventually. But when you keep quiet, they are always looking forward to your response, but it's not coming. And because it is not coming, what happens? They will keep on containing themselves. This one, no. And eventually there will be peace in the valley. But the moment you respond, and they respond, and you bring your big words, they bring their big words. The bigger the words, the bigger the anger. And eventually, GBV. The reason we fight, even with our friends, is because we have failed to contain our anger. You want to respond, and this one also is responding. And in the end, you just hold each other. The angry dog kills. You have a question? The microphone is here. You can use this one. If that one will not work, I'll laugh at you because I said use this one.
All right. Thank you so much, brother. We find that these are the situations which we normally, those of us who are married, whereby if I keep quiet, she's talking. She will say, I'm talking, you are quiet. When you respond, and then she will tell you to say, you are responding, I'm talking. So, it is tough out there. But I'm not scaring you, those who are not married. No, we are encouraging you. So, we need to handle our friends like the way he has said, to say we need to know what has caused that person to be what? To get angry. I've got a testimony what happened for me in December in Lusaka. I went to order some goods. December last year. I went to order some goods. Yeah, am I allowed? Yeah, so I entered this shop. because these Indian guys, they know me. I order very much. So this guy came, and then he asked for one of the herbicides. Then I responded, because the owner was busy. I responded to say, this type of the herbicide that you want, it is selling at 167 kwacha. And then this man, he responded to say, responded to say, you are one of the thieves. Why are you responding? Are you the owner of the shop? Then I said, sorry. So this man continued talking. I said, Mr. Man, I've told you sorry. But he continued talking until we almost fought. Because I told him, I'm sorry, but you are continuing. So, out there, you meet people with such conditions, whereby somebody will just wake up with a mood. You greet him, you just respond whatever in a way you are not expecting. So you just need to keep quiet. You just tell him or her sorry, and then eventually you find that that person, if she's or he is up well, you find that you keep quiet. Now those who are not up well,
all right, thank you. The problem there was that your sorry came repeatedly. Because if you chose to just say sorry and keep quiet, even if he continues talking, eventually he will just calm down. I think the Bible is very clear in Proverbs 15 verse 1 and 2. A soft answer turns away what? Wrath. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly. So, you have said sorry. Fine. Do you have to keep saying sorry? Nezinakamba sorry. Sumvera sorry we. Umvere rakuti sorry. Then in the end, what happens? You are also charging. And because you are charging, he's also charging. It will be a spark. So sorry, I didn't realize that I'm offending you. And then keep quiet. Our hands are popping up. Yes, you can come here, and then him, and then Pastor Mdenda.
Mine is a question.
It's a question. Please ask.
Yes. Mine is a question. There are situations where, when they are talking to you, per se, thank you. When, for example, the other gender talks to you, it's not always that they are angry at sometimes. There are situations where maybe they are talking to you calmly, but it's provocative. Do you have to also keep quiet? Because there are situations where, like, just in a calm way, they're not provocative. I mean, they're not, the tempers are not reason. They're just there, but the words that they're using, it's rough. So do you just have to keep quiet like we've been told, or you have to react as well?
Do you have somebody who wants to respond to that one? They have a calm tone, and yet the words they are releasing are a javelin. Huh? Do you have to respond? Remember, it's not the tone, it's the words. I've done PR, and one of the cliches we use are that, depending on how you tell someone, go to hell, they might be looking forward to it. Somebody will tell you, go to hell, and you think it's a nice place because of how it has been packaged. And yet it's not a nice place. So there are people that are just good at being calm. But Bakuru once sure. Now, but that's offensive, but she was calm. I haven't spread the bed. I was the last one to wake up. And then calmly she will come and ask me, Mulina manja. Calmly. And there I already know this one is trying to reach at me. The best you do is keep quiet. Just go and spread the bed and leave. Because if you say something, Mulina manja, waona chan. Then after saying waona chan, ma iwe kwanu, sumweze yanzika bed. Then the moment she says that calmly, you feel defeated. Because for men we use power. Women use words. And before you know it, and we'll be reading news, an Adventist man has beaten his wife. No, we have men here, pastors only. So ideally, even when they say it nicely, they don't mean well. So you just need to censor. Are we using the same frequency? My pastor.
Good afternoon, church. Yeah, thank you so much from the presentation that we have. My question is coming from, we'll start with the story that we found in the Bible. If we read Luke chapter 4, verse 16, coming down, we find Jesus is preaching in the synagogue. Then later on, he says, for today's words, I think we are done. Then we see the multitude in the synagogue, they rose up because they were angry with what Jesus said in that church during that period of time. And in response to their anger, they wanted to throw him in that downfalls. Then because he was a master, he managed to respond to that anger. He went back using the same attitude. Then we can also see the story of Jesus. When he was in the temple, one day when he was worshiping, there are some people who are selling. And we know the story very well that he was angry and he started chasing and also allowing such of the product that was sold to go away. That was his response to the anger because of the issues that was happening in the church. Back in the Old Testament, we see the story of Israelites with the Philistines. We can read it from the book of 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 26. I think we know all the story, what happened when Goliath was talking issues to the children of Israel. Then David answered, and David spoke to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God? I think to my understanding, I can see that there's a bit of anger because of whatever that was happening between these Israelites and the Philistine. Then we can see that he was responding someone. The response that he took was wrongly because he ended up to get courage and to fight against Goliath, and he killed Goliath. Then this was just a statement, a stem of my question. Then to the practical example of us who are here. Imagine you are working, because we didn't talk about the causes of anger and maybe classifying what types of anger. We just went straight into the management of anger. Now, I want to be helped.
The assumption is that we know what causes us to get angry.
Yes.
So let's manage the problem.
Yes, thank you. So my question is, for instance, I'm working in the hospital, then I'm sitting in the management meeting where they are looking at the finances of the institution to run the institution. Then we have different cadres there. We have health workers, we have accountants, those who did leadership and other things. then you find that me as a health personnel that dealing with patients directly in the hospital, I could see there's a need of some medicine to save life that is perishing or someone who is almost to die. Then the account says, the one who is the custodian of money says, no, we can't release that money. According to the police, there's no money for medicine. But you know that the institution has money, and the money that is there, it is to give allowances to some people that are serving in the same institution. Then you, who have a feeling that someone is going to die, and with the responses that maybe an accountant is giving you to say, I cannot release that money, do you need to keep quiet, despite that you have been activated to be angry because of the responses that are coming in the expense of losing someone, because we should run away from anger. Thank you.
So, just because they've said there is no money, you want to get angry? Yes, money is there. But the question is, should you get angry? Pastor Zulu, Pastor Mdenda, you had your hand up, you've changed your mind? Okay, you come after Pastor Zulu.
Oftentimes there is a confusion between strength and weakness. Who is strong and who's weak? And we have oftentimes been bathed in the gaze that the strong are vocal, while being vocal holds its right place, in that you can't keep quiet when you are seeing something wrong going on. That's being vocal. But there are those of us that would want to respond at every attack. And I think that's where the presenter was leading us to. Real strength is demonstrated when you restrain yourself to hurt or to respond when you have the capacity to. When you have the capacity to harm and restrain yourself from harming, you know that the person who's insulting you, just one good kick in a right place, then they are finished. But you decide not to. The fact is that though you may be deemed weak, you are actually strong. And that's the strength that Christ exemplifies. That though he was omnipotent, nails held him because of the love. Are you with me, somebody? So, how do you define your strength? Real strength sometimes is to choose not to act even when you've got an advantage to act. All right. In the last question that my brother asked here, where you sit in the board and you have been petitioning for meds or medicines to be bought, the question is, will anger change policy? Anger does not change policy. Reasonable talk does. Reasonable talk does. And it will be prudent for us to notice when to be reasonable. Because sometimes when you express yourself, even though you are reasonable, when people's angers are flared up, even if you talk, you will sound unreasonable. Then silence becomes golden. God bless us.
All right, thank you so much, Pastor Zulu. Pastor Mdenda, you can come. So there is nothing wrong in speaking out. I think that's our fifth point in managing anger. Because when you would have spoken, you know that you have stated what you think is right. And so should anything go wrong, This is where you smile in your heart and say, but I said it. Okay? So you would have done your part. Pastor Mdenda.
Yeah,
They
so,
deliberately put it there so that those capturing will be able to see you.
all right, so.
Yeah,
I'm
we are trying to
comfortable.
know you by the camera.
All right, so I'm provoked to say something.
You are provoked.
Yes,
Okay.
or I am tempted to. I think there are things that are easy to manage about anger than other things. But again, it depends on the mood that you have that day. Because these issues of moods, I am not the only one. Oh, Pastor Marambo, you are welcome. Yeah, so let me mention one thing. Okay, I'll face you. There was a day when someone was just taking me, cutting my hair. Then now, that cutting of hair, when I looked at the mirror, it was ugly. So I asked, before I went into the barber shop, do you know how to cut hair? Then he said, yes. So now, that person, the way he cut my hair, it was not good. Even when you look at it, was like someone is using the bottles. Then now, I was so quick to act. Before I realized it, he was in the air. I just held him, and he was in there. But and then my brother, since he knows me, then okay, come down. Okay, oh, I realized. But then again, another serious incident happened. That one was small. But then this one, I don't know how I managed that anger. That one was small, but I don't know what came over. Because this one was big to me, but I managed it. So this day I found my wife with this other man. So when I found her, I stood for more than 30 minutes. I was just watching her. And she was watching, and the man was watching, but all of them were watching me. And I just looked at these two people. Then the next question, the next time I talked was to ask her, from the time I married you, can you tell me what I have never done for you? She didn't answer the question. Then I asked the man, do you know this person is married? And he also says that I don't know. But then all those answers were wrong. But it was not an easy thing. That's why I began with the words, there are things which you can easily manage. And then there are things that you can't manage. So I just sat down, and then when I sat down again,